Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to night number 44 of the Overnight Feed recaps for Big Brother Season 27. It's Thursday. That means it's eviction night. It means we've got a new HOH that'll be coming up as well. It's going to be a very important HOH. All right, we're going to be losing tonight either Riley or Mickey or Morgan. The HOH is going to be huge in determining how the rest of this season goes. I don't know. Is it still possibly the wall competition? We heard it could be last week. It wasn't. Could be this week. Morgan's praying that it could be. She needs to make sure she sticks around first. I think she will, but we'll find out. All right. It's sure looking, though, like Mickey is heading home if she doesn't win Blockbuster tonight, but much less certain what happens in a Riley Morgan vote if it comes down to that. In that situation, Ava and Vince and Mickey will probably be the critical swing vote. So we had a lot of conversations with them going on. And how they would potentially influence the game. All right, we've got Kat and Lauren and Keanu and Kelly would all vote out Morgan in that situation, but Ashley and Will would probably vote out Riley. And I say probably on all this because we don't know for certain. But probably Ashley and Will vote out Riley. So it really could come down to those three swing votes. And Ava, probably the biggest unknown of those three. Although Vince, flip-flopping Vince could be an issue as well. All right, so let's start the feeds mid-afternoon or so. We've got Riley talking to Ava while he packs, which is never a lot of fun, saying he'll protect her in the house. Riley's finally doing some campaign. He says he'll protect her in his house, that she's his bestest friend or something like that. So he's making some moves to try to get Ava's vote. Vince is warning Lauren that Morgan and Mickey made up with Rachel this week and that they're working together. So, we need to be careful about that, Lauren. Lauren is saying she wants Mickey out. A lot of people in the house want Mickey out. But she's saying, but if Mickey wins Blockbuster, then she is probably going to vote Riley to stay over Morgan. And Vince says, well, I probably will also. It seems like that's the direction that Vince has been leaning so far, is that as tight as he is with Morgan, still cut her loose and hold on to Riley. They're both figuring that Morgan is tighter with Mickey than with either one of them. So certainly, why in the world would we ever hold on to Mickey in that kind of situation? All right, we've got Ava. Excuse me, we've got Ava and Will talking a little bit. Trying to figure out what they're possibly going to do. Ava very stressed throughout all of this, the whole evening, knowing that she could be a swing vote. Ava's thinking that the best case is Riley winning Blockbuster, because if that's a situation, Mickey gets voted out. There's probably not a whole lot of argument from anyone in the house. It is going to be a cleaner situation for all involved. If Riley doesn't win Blockbuster, this house could just absolutely blow apart a little bit. Sorry, a little bit weird focus here. All right, well, we're just gonna keep going, guys. Ava's thinking the best case is Riley wins Blockbuster, but if Riley's still on the block, that she probably would vote to save Riley, perhaps. That's not what Will wants to do. Will wants to vote out Riley, but she's worried that Vince could flip to save Morgan, and if that case, then suddenly Ava's on the wrong side of the vote. Don't tell anyone your vote this week. You don't have to tell anyone which way you're voting. Julie doesn't announce who voted for who, and I think there's going to be enough people in this house who could have flipped one way or the other. You could probably claim whatever you want, and there's no way for anyone to know for certain. So maybe don't tell anyone just what you're going to do. We've got Ava and Will going through likely votes, and Ava's realizing that she is likely the swing vote when it comes down to it, and that doesn't make her feel all nice and comfy. She goes back and forth between, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be a swing vote, and I don't care who goes home. So she's just probably not wanting to be in this position. Ava is saying that the only reason that she might save Morgan over Riley is just because of Will and because of their relationship, and she knows that Will probably wants to send or does want to send Riley out the door. She's saying if it wasn't for that Will, I'd probably just go ahead and keep Riley. But with you, I'm going to keep your opinions in mind as well. But Will at one point also says he's going to go talk to Riley, and maybe if he can make good with Riley and get a guarantee of safety. Not saying I'm going to vote to save him, but at least just in case he sticks around, maybe I should make sure I'm on Riley's good side as well. All right, we've got Lauren complaining to Vince about Rachel. She's saying that Rachel told me that I was old enough to make my own decision. I shouldn't listen to other people. And here Rachel's telling me what I'm supposed to do. And she's a hypocrite, just a hypocrite trying to do that. Vince is saying that turn it right around and say, yeah, that's horrible. All right, here's what you need to do, Lauren. He's saying they need to keep Riley, who will protect them. They've promised both. He's promised both of them safety, and he's thinking that keeping Morgan over Mickey is also best. So their voting order is we keep Riley no matter what. If it's Morgan versus Mickey, then we keep Morgan, and Lauren is fine with that. Morgan is telling Lauren that Riley and Kat will be a voting block. If Riley doesn't go home, that Riley and Kat would be a voting block of 2 votes, and it only takes 4 votes going forward to basically control the House. She's saying that's half the what's needed for a winning vote. They're going to have a huge power influence in this House if Riley and Kat stick around, Lauren. I think it's a wasted argument on Lauren at this point, but I guess you have to make the effort. She's saying now, on the other hand, if Riley goes, then the target shifts to Kelly and Keanu, not to you, Lauren. It shifts to those two, so you're still safe if this showmance is broken up. Morgan's also saying that if Riley stays, she says that's going to be rough for you, Lauren. You're seen as a third wheel in that showmance. If Riley stays, people are going to see Riley and Kat and you as a very dangerous trio. And that could put you in the target hairs if that's the case. All right, Kat's telling Ava that she doesn't want Mickey or Riley to go home at all. Mickey? Yeah, she wants Mickey to stick around as well, and certainly Riley. All right, we've got Ashley and Rachel talking. Ashley's thinking that Ava is keeping Riley against either Morgan or Mickey. Rachel's talking about how badly they actually need Ava on their side, though. What can they do? Later, they go through scenarios and all that. Rachel and Ava spent a lot of time talking. Ashley is afraid that that the only she's that the Mickey will go home in a vote versus Morgan. Is her worry. So she's still trying to protect Mickey and Morgan both. But she's not certain that they can get out Riley if he's against Morgan. She's just not sure that they've got the votes to make that happen against against those two. And just not sure how that would work. All right, we've got Ava and Vince and Lauren talking. Lauren is saying that she thinks that she owes Riley her vote to keep him, since she kind of feels responsible that he's on the block in the first place since she used the veto. So another reason that she would vote to save Riley. All three of them, again, Ava, Vince, and Lauren, all three agreeing that at least for right now, they're good with Riley. They don't think Riley's going to necessarily come after them. He hasn't really said anything, at least not to their face. He said a few things about Ava, but they feel like they're all good with Riley. So do they really need to be sending him out the door right now? Again, this is Vince and Lauren kind of working on Ava more than anything. Ava does mention, however, that from the other side, breaking up a showmance could be a good thing as well. So, yeah, she's still trying to balance a whole lot of how she proceeds going forward. All right, during the TV episode that took place yesterday, first of all, how cool was it watching Otep and watching the Hogfather? I kind of felt a little connection there. But yeah, during the TV episode, the feeds cut. We later found out that the house guests got their halfway party, big party that you get when you're halfway through the season. So props and congrats to all of them. Basically, the halfway party, I assume it's the same as when we had ours during season 21. You get a cake that has everyone's photo on it. You get pizzas. You get a half hour or so of music being played loudly over the speakers. Everyone comes together. It's just a fun little party. What I remember most from my halfway party is 2 things. One, Kat got mad because someone ate the piece of cake that had her face on it. She wanted to save that, and someone ate it when she wasn't paying attention. And second, they played Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. We all started to sing along. Nick was amazed. It didn't seem like he knew the song, was amazed that we all knew the words to the song. And the general comment was, how do you not know the words to this song, Nick? So that's what I remember from my halfway party. But it does make you feel good that you've gotten to that point. Not quite jury, but you've gotten at least halfway. All right, we've got Ashley talking to Morgan, telling Morgan that if it's a Morgan versus Riley on the block, it could all really depend on Laura and Ava. Again, it seems like they could be the swing votes. But Ashley's thinking, and Lauren's not really a swing vote because she'll vote to save Riley. So again, Ava. But Ashley's thinking that they both would keep Riley if it came down to it. Ashley is saying that they need Mickey, but at the same time, if Mickey doesn't win Blockbuster, she's probably going home based on the way these votes seem to be falling out. Vince is telling Ava that if it's between Morgan and Riley, he'll keep Riley. Ava's expressed several times that she wants to make sure she's with the right side of the house. So the more Vince says one way and Morgan says the other way, they're all trying to convince Ava, I think, that if you vote this way, you'll be on the right side of the house. The reality is she's a swing vote. She may be the right side of the house no matter what. But yeah, Vince is saying that he'll keep Riley over Morgan. Kelly is saying that if it's a Morgan versus Mickey vote, Kelly's going to vote to save Morgan. Uh, I think we're just about settled. Mickey goes home against Morgan, probably, or Riley, either one. We got Mickey and Morgan talking a little bit, comparing notes. Mickey is saying that Keanu is convinced that Vince won't flip and send out Riley. But Morgan's saying, yeah, he will. Yeah, he's going to vote with us. He's going to vote on our side. He's not going to do that. He'll vote out Riley. I'm not so sure about that, Morgan. Mickey is convinced that Ava won't flip on him either, that she's going to be voting with them and sending out Riley. We'll see about that also. During the TV episode, okay, we talked about the house guest party. All right, we've got Ava and Rachel talking using cherries. No M&Ms for these two. It's Rachel actually the main one, but she gets Ava in there for a little while as well. Using cherries instead of M&Ms to consider scenarios. Rachel's not happy that Vince could be the swing vote and a Riley Mickey vote. She said, I can't believe that Vince could be the one deciding that. And do I really want to be too supportive of Mickey in that situation? And I don't like the scenario, the way this is falling out. She doesn't think that there's any chance that Vince will send Morgan home. Well, it could happen. But she is wondering if Mickey would vote to save Morgan. That's a question as well. That Mickey may have a little more loyalty or trust in Riley in some ways than Morgan right now. She's saying Mickey could be the swing vote. If she wins a blockbuster, we haven't talked to Mickey as much about this, but she could be the blockbuster. She could be the swing vote. Ava is saying that the showmances and Mickey are both dangerous for different reasons. There's no good solution on here. I kind of went through the same thing during my season. Dangerous players versus showmances. Ava's saying, yeah, they're both dangerous. I don't know how we proceed with this. Ava is worried as well that Mickey could blow up their games if she wanted to, with a lot of things that she knows and a whole lot of lies as well. That Mickey's just the kind that could cause a lot of major issues. Ava eventually says that she'll vote Morgan to stay over Riley. At least she's telling Rachel this. Ava's thinking that Vince might be more loyal to Riley over Mickey, which I think is the case. Ava's also thinking that Vince might support Riley over the side. She's saying, look, Rachel, if I'm Vince, I'm thinking, you put me on the block. Ava, you put me on the block. Do I really want to work with y'all's side and support Morgan over Riley under those circumstances? So Ava's not as certain maybe as Rachel is. Ava's complaining about her side and how crazy her side is. She said, we've got effing crazy Mickey. We've got chatty Kathy Ashley. We've got people on our side that are just tough to work with. She says Will said something about, that we're the crazy side. And Rachel said, well, yeah, I guess so. But she said, look at the other side. You got Kelly and Keanu over there, Lauren, who won't make a decision at all. So there are a lot of crazy people in this house. They kind of are. Rachel is saying that Riley going changes the game. So obviously she's pushing to get out Riley to Ava. She's saying, look, Riley going home changes the game in our favor. Suddenly Kat is all alone, much weaker. She's also saying that if Riley goes, because Ava was talking about Mickey and fearful for Mickey, and Rachel's saying, no, it's not just Riley going home and weakening that side. If he goes home, it also weakens Mickey because she feels like she's got her reach with everyone, including Riley, which means also with Kat. You get rid of Riley, suddenly Mickey loses her access to that side of the house. And so it weakens Mickey as well also. Ava's talking about Riley not putting her on the block. She said, Riley hadn't put me on the block, hadn't said he'd put me on the block, but Mickey would. So do I really want to not support Riley under that kind of situation? Rachel's talking about how dangerous the other side could be if you ended up after this week with Riley and Keanu and Kelly and Kat all working together. That she just feels like that would be an incredibly dangerous foursome that they would have to deal with at some point. All right, we've got Vince and Ava agreeing that they are the swing votes again. A lot of talk back and forth and not really anything decided. Ava's saying that she might save Morgan over Riley. Vince is saying that they have no reason not to trust Riley at this point in time. Ava's worried about the showmance, but Vince is saying, hey, look, yeah, I understand you're concerned about the showmance, but that means they're also a target. They're also a shield for us. People are going to be looking at them before they look at us. So, Ava, there's some benefit to having such a huge presence on our side as well. They seem to agree that they would keep Riley over Mickey if Morgan won the blockbuster. Eventually, Ava says, "Look, let's just not think about it. We're just going to panic and go back and forth and all." She said, "Let's just wait. We'll see who wins the blockbuster. We'll find each other immediately after the blockbuster, and we'll just decide at that point." Finally, someone may strategize after the blockbuster. So they've kind of said, "We agree not to agree just yet." All right, we've got Riley and Kat talking. Riley is saying that Mickey was going to split them up, and he hasn't forgotten. So if it's a Morgan versus Mickey battle, uh, Riley may not be as loyal to Mickey as Mickey thinks he will be in that situation. He's saying she was going to split us up, Kat. I had to beg her not to. And Kat saying, "Look, I told you I'd do it. I told you I'd do it." And I think she's talking about voting out Mickey over Morgan if it's that situation. All right, Vince is telling Morgan that Ava is probably going to be keeping Riley over Mickey, just letting her know. He's kind of trying to blame it on Ava to take away the fact that he also may be doing that. He didn't mention that. He's just saying, I think Ava may be, so you need to be prepared if that's the case. And I'm sure then he's going to turn around and say, it didn't matter. That I didn't have a choice about it. All right, we got Will talking to Ashley, saying that Mickey will save Riley over Morgan. Would she? Maybe. I'm not sure. But or is Mickey just kidding or just saying that to Kat and Riley? Just kidding when she says that. Not really sure, but yeah. So apparently, yeah, Will telling Ashley that Mickey will save Riley over Morgan. Ashley says she's fine voting out Mickey at this point. We've got Lauren telling Ashley that she owes Riley her vote, but she's going to sleep on her decision. She still hadn't completely committed. All right, real quick, we've got Lauren and Vince talking. Vince knows that both Morgan and Riley think he's voting to save each of them, so he's in a bad position. Vince better really hope that Mickey doesn't win the blockbuster. As long as Mickey's up there, he's safe. Otherwise, Vince is in a tough position. Vince is thinking that Ava is now leaning to voting out Morgan over Riley because she thinks Riley has the votes to stay. Vince is complaining that he's so close to Morgan, but on the other hand, Morgan wants to work with Rachel and Vince, who wants to work with Morgan and with Rachel and Ashley, who Vince wants both of them gone, so it's a little difficult. Vince also wants to make sure that Morgan is in jury because he thinks that would help his case. But he's also saying that since Lauren used the veto on him, he also feels like he needs to consider her game a little bit as well. All right, real quick, and we'll wrap this up because we had some. Ava, Will, and Ashley are talking. Ashley wanting all three to decide and lock in their decisions. Ashley suggesting that they have the votes to save Mickey over Riley. Ava and Will do not commit to that or lock in with that particular decision. Ashley's saying that she knows that Vince will keep his word and save Morgan if it comes down to it. Ava, not so sure. I'm not so sure either. After Ava leaves, Ashley is saying they have to hang out with Ava all day today to keep Kat from talking to her. Also saying that Mickey has been hanging out with Riley and Kat all day. Hadn't even talked to Ava yet. So we know where their relationship is, perhaps. All right, we got Will telling Mickey that Riley has gone over Morgan. Mickey seems to be against that. Not really as in agreement with Will as he wants it to be. Ashley and Rachel, Vince and Morgan and Will all just talking bad about the other side, who's good at different comps, things like that. And then finally, guys, night isn't over, but we had a lot of storms in Houston, had some technical issues, kept going in and out. Finally, my internet went down completely. I think most of the conversations were done. Ashley and Rachel still had some conversations, just rehashing the same stuff. So there you have it, a quick little overnight feeds recap. But there you have it. So tonight, it's going to be huge. If Mickey's still on the block, I think she goes home. Morgan versus Riley. We'll see. I don't know. And then we'll have the HOH. It's going to be a fun evening. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow to tell you what happened with the HOH and evictions and all that. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.